In this presentation, we will explore the process of creating and applying patches in software development. Patches are a crucial tool for sharing code changes, especially when direct access to a repository is not available. We will see how to create and apply patches effectively. This allows collaboration and contribution to projects without needing write access to the main code repository. Let's get started and discover how to streamline your development workflow using patches. So, what exactly are patches? Patches are essentially text files that contain code changes. These files display additions, deletions, and contextual information about the modifications made to the source code. They're particularly useful for sharing changes without requiring direct access to a repository. Patches can easily be shared through email, incorporated into tickets, or discussed in forums, making them versatile for collaborative coding environments. The example patch here shows a change to a hello.e file, adding standard input-output header file, a main function to print the line hello world, to the console. There are several scenarios where using patches can be highly beneficial. First, in situations where you lack direct repository access but still want to contribute changes to a project, patches are invaluable. Second, during code review processes, patches enable changes to be reviewed and discussed before being committed to the main repository. Patches are also commonly used in email-based workflows, such as in the Linux kernel development, where contributions are submitted via email. Lastly, patches are useful for sharing quick fixes or minor changes without needing to go through formal pull or merge request procedures. Git provides simple commands to create patches from your changes, and these patches can be shared with others who can then apply them to their repositories. To create a patch from the last commit, use the command git format patch -1 head. To create patches for multiple commits, use git format patch -3 head. The patches will be saved as .patch files in your current directory. To create a patch from a specific commit, use git format patch -1 and then the commit hash. To create patches for a range of commits, use git format patch start commit and commit. To create a patch for uncommitted changes, use git diff _changes.patch. Finally, to create a patch for staged changes, use git diff -- staged _changes.patch. A patch file contains metadata about the change, including information about the author, the date, and the commit message. It also includes the actual code differences along with context. The header provides overall information about the patch. The metadata section describes the files changed and the number of insertions and deletions. The diff-git section shows the actual changes with a /filename indicating the original file and +++b/filename indicating the modified file. Lines starting with a -sign indicate removals, while lines starting with a +sign indicate additions. Once you receive a patch file, you can apply it to your repository using Git's built-in commands. To apply a patch file, use the command git apply filename.patch. To apply a patch with git format patch format, use git mfilename.patch. Note that git apply only changes files, whereas git am also creates a commit. To check if a patch can be applied cleanly, use git apply --check filename.patch. To apply a patch with more context, use git apply -c3 filename.patch. To apply patch with three-way merge, use git m -3 filename.patch. Finally, to apply all patches in a directory, use git m *patch. Sometimes, patches can't be applied cleanly because the target files have changed since the patch was created. When conflicts occur, there are several options to resolve them. When gitm fails with a conflict, you'll see error messages indicating which patch failed. To resolve conflicts manually, edit the conflicted files, then use git add file, followed by gitm ---- continue. To skip the problematic patch, use gitm -- skip. To abort the patching process, use gitm ---- abort. Alternatively, try applying with a three-way merge using git -3 filename.patch. Always check if a patch applies cleanly before applying it to avoid conflicts. Here are some best practices to keep in mind when working with patches. First, keep patches small. Create focused patches that address a single issue or feature. Smaller patches are easier to review and less likely to conflict. Second, use clear commit messages. Write descriptive commit messages that explain what the patch does and why it's necessary. This helps reviewers understand your changes. Third, base patches on the latest code. Create patches against the most recent version of the codebase to minimize conflicts when others apply your patches. Lastly, test before sharing. Verify that your patch applies cleanly to a fresh copy of the repository and that it works as expected before sharing it. In summary, patches allow sharing code changes without direct repository access. Create patches with git format patch or git diff, and apply patches with git apply or git am. Handle conflicts by resolving them manually or using a three-way merge. Finally, follow best practices by keeping patches small, using clear messages, and testing before sharing. Here are some additional resources for further learning. You can refer Git documentation available at git-scm.com/docs/git-format-patch . Git documentation at git-scm.com/docs/git-m . Pro Git book at git-scm.com/book . Linux kernel patch submission at kernel.org/docs/html/latest/process/submitting-patches HTML . And Git patch tutorial at git-send-email.io. Thank you. If you like this video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Visit codelucky.com for more such useful content.